Welcome to episode 164 of your Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
We're back.
I was thinking about saying weekly, and then I was like, nah.
No.
Monthly.
We have been on hiatus, not on purpose.
Yeah, we've been all over in the mountains,
Yeah.
on a big boat, all around.
So all of these trips and excursions that Taco and I have had have never coincided with each other. So he's gone, and he'll get back. Hey, I'm back in town. Great, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yep.
It's been that way.
And
for
then
the last month.
I'm leaving again.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So well,
This summer's been nuts.
it's been awesome.
We'll
been
talk
super
about
busy.
our a few of the things that we've
Some
been
of our
doing.
adventures and
Yes, a
what
little
we've
later.
been doing with guns and whatnot. But first, let's knock out our sponsors. We still have sponsors.
Yes, hopefully. Let's go with Black Ice Coatings. Lee with Black Ice Coatings.
I was just with Lee. He was
Oh.
at the shop
Oh, really?
moments ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So he visited you, or you went down there?
He visited me
Oh.
twice in 2 days.
Oh, okay.
He needed a holster for his dagger
Uh-huh.
and had a TLR7 sub light for
Uh-huh.
it. Well, wasn't for it. He's like, I'm not even sure what it was supposed to fit. It doesn't fit the Glock or this. So I just took my Dremel to my my dagger.
Oh, no.
And he cut a new slot in for the rail, and then there's a little bump on the front of the trigger guard. He ground that down, and then his thing fit perfect. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna need your gun and your light then, because I'm not modifying my stuff to make that
fit,
work.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he wanted a holster for his Jeep, something that would
okay.
fit between the seat and the
Yeah.
console and stuff. So
Yeah, well, I guess if you're going to do the Dremel stuff to a gun,
yeah,
the dagger is maybe a good one to try
I
with,
think
because
so.
on sale those little lower frames are like $50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very
I looked at what he
inexpensive
did,
mistake.
and I was like, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I probably would have done the same thing. He's like, I already had the light, and it just didn't seem to make sense to buy another light specifically for this gun when I have this one that I'm not using, and I could make it work. And it actually worked really well. It's like it was made for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lee was down. Go check out Black Ice Coatings at blackicecoatings.com. Follow them on Instagram. I think they're on Facebook as well. But all your gun finishes, Teflon coating, we tell you to call them up and tell them you want it slickery. And I was thinking, we shouldn't be calling him Lee. We should be calling him Slick.
Slick. Slick Lee.
Slickly. All right. So
We got new
call
nickname.
Black Ice Coatings and ask for Slickly.
So yeah, and I guess a while back, it was earlier this summer, I brought my Savage Hog Hunter to him.
Yeah.
And then I got that
For the pig dip.
the pig dip. Yeah. So I got a mix of Teflon, Cerakote, battle worn Cerakote, hot pink and black.
Yeah.
And
hydro dip. You got a little bit of everything.
It was
that he
a
does.
sampler of everything.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The young men, the boys, are pretty excited to shoot that one.
Shoot the hog gun.
Yeah. I took a group shooting, and I wanted to verify 0 on that.
Uh-huh.
Because I had to remove the scope and put it back on for all the work done.
Yeah.
But I got that dialed back in, and it was funny because this group that I took shooting, they're like, "What is that?" Because it's this hot pink piggy gun.
Yeah.
With this big fat silencer on the end.
Yeah.
And anyways, it was awesome. It was fun. We were banging targets. This range was only out to like 300 and something. So it wasn't very hard, but they had not shot that far before, so 300 and something yards felt pretty far to them.
Yeah.
So they felt like snipers with my
For sure.
the piggy gun. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The hog hunter.
Moving on, NOE Bullet Molds at noebulletmolds.com. Go check them out. They've always got new stuff that they're working on. Anything fancy or new coming out?
So, progress is a little bit slow, but Al is still working on doing those pot liners for the Lee 420 pots.
Yeah.
So that people can, for one, have a thicker, pot liner, and then two, for the people who are wanting to play around with zinc and don't want to just melt through that and kind of ruin their whole thing.
Right.
I don't know how you'd get, if that zinc melted through like the bottom and just
it'd be done.
You'd be replacing some parts.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. It'd be it'd be messy because it takes a lot more heat to melt the zinc.
Right.
And so if you had hardened zinc drips or I don't know. Anyways, it'd be tough. But yeah, NOE's still working on making molds, and the last series of molds were pretty cool. The ones that have the different sized
multiple weight.
Yes, different sized pins, base pins, and nose pour. So I need to do a video on one of those. I just if people watch my videos, they'll notice that I haven't posted any videos in forever. I was
kind of like podcasting.
Yeah, well, it was part of it was forced. I kept getting all these channel strikes and video deletions, even when I wasn't breaking any rules.
Well, that's the way it's always been.
Yeah. Well, before it was, hey, we're going to change the rules and then we're going to apply these changes to all your past videos, hundreds of videos. So, anyways, so check out noebulletmolds.com and use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you a few bucks.
Yep. Also,
Utah Air Guns.
Yes, Utah Air Guns. You been there lately?
I went before I went to Washington.
Yeah.
To fill up some tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, it's
always a good time.
It's always a good time. I noticed that they had, I saw a little thing, with the MMA, some MMA fighters came into Utah Air Guns.
Oh, really?
And got to shoot some air guns.
Huh.
So there's an event in Utah. So they were.
Oh, I think I saw something on their electronic billboard when I was driving by. I'm like, MMA.
Yeah.
Does that mean something different than I think?
Mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But check out Utah Air Guns at utahairguns.com. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook just like everybody else. But when you place an order online, when you check out, use the code AIRCANDY. You get free shipping.
And turret stickers?
Oh, yeah, and free turret stickers.
Yeah.
So, mag holder at magholder.com. The best horizontal mag carriers out there. Did you know they have a piece now so that you can carry two mag holders, one above the other?
Oh.
It's actually pretty sweet.
Huh.
And I say that because I designed it.
Oh.
But Ricky and myself, because I sell mag holders also, have had people wanting to carry multiple, but when you put them in line on your belt, because they're horizontal,
it's too much.
It is. It
Unless
takes up
you're
too
a
much
really
space.
wide guy.
Well, and it also makes it hard to draw one because they're right. Unless you put one on each side, and then your draw is going to be different. And so a while back he asked if I could come up with some way of designing something to where we could carry two vertically, or not vertically, but one on top of the other, basically. Yeah. And so I designed a piece that he gets water jet cut out, and it puts the quick clip belt clips on it that I use for my holsters, my Cobra holsters, and these just snap into it. And when I cut one out and I tested it, I wore one all day, and I was like, this thing's pretty amazing.
So it actually works pretty good.
It does. It works really well. It rides real snug to the body. Obviously, it's going to show a little bit easier because it sits down lower, but it's not that bad. And it never, got in my way. I never felt like it was, banging into things and stuff like that. So, anyway, something to think about and to check out. And they've got all kinds of other stuff on their website too. Lots of swag, mag holder swag.
Nice.
But go check them out. Use the code Get in the Van. I have candy, and you'll save, I think it's 10 or 15%, I don't remember. You'll
Yeah.
save. That's all that matters.
We're saving you dollars.
Yes. Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. So, I have a lot of exciting news. And I might as well bring it out now while we're talking about Concealment Solutions.
First off, the belt. I have 2 of them. I like it.
And there's a new version coming out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What features does the new version offer?
The only thing different about the new one is the webbing is slightly heavier.
Heavier.
So it's a little bit stiffer, which is a little bit better. And you'll be able to get it in Coyote.
Okay.
Coyote and black. So
all right.
That is...
It still has the stiffener in the middle?
Still has the stiffener. I'm wearing one right now. The original belt was great. The new belt is freaking awesome.
Dimension-wise, is it...
It's identical.
Okay, so it's just a little thicker...
The webbing's just a little bit thicker. So when you run it through that cam that locks down on the webbing with the belt, when it's brand new, it's like...
It bites down.
It bites hard. And like to open that cam again, a couple of times I had to just grab the webbing and pull it, because I couldn't get my fingers underneath the cam to pull it. Once it breaks in, it's a lot easier, and it takes a couple of days for it to break in.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not bad, but I did have a couple of people say that the original one, that the buckle would slip a little bit. It was mostly bigger dudes, and bigger dudes carrying a lot of gear.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I don't know that I can fix that necessarily, but this new webbing is absolutely going to fix that. And you have color options now. Had a lot of people wanting Coyote. So those are coming very soon. In fact, the test pieces, well, they're not test pieces, but I guess some of the original samples I had her send me are off getting professionally photographed as we speak, as well as many other products. So new belts are coming. They are going to be $10 more. So they're going to be $59.99 instead of $49.99. I will probably be doing a a pre-order deal on them.
Okay.
And it'll probably be pretty good. So order one, and it might be 2 weeks before it'll ship, but you'll get a sweet deal on it. So watch for that on the website. I've got some other new products coming out. My mag carriers, I am completely redesigning them. They're almost ready to go. Again, I've got some samples that I put together that are getting photographed for the website. They're super cool. It's more of I don't want to say it's more of a cosmetic redesign, but they are cosmetically different. They're very cool looking. But these will also be able to take the regular fold over belt clip that has been on all my mag carriers and on like my asp holsters, the inside the waistband holsters. So it'll take that belt clip. It'll also take a Tech Lock or the Dots buckle, which is real similar to the Tech Lock, as well as Molly clips.
Oh.
So you can buy one mag carrier and you can change out however you want to carry it. So if you're running a plate carrier and you want mag carriers on your plate carrier, you can throw Molly clips on it. If you're running them for competition and you've got one of those big heavy double layered belts, you can throw a Tech Lock or the Dots clip on it that's real thick and heavy, and you can run it that way. If you're just doing everyday carry with one of our Python EDC belts, just the regular fold over belt clip will go on it and work just great. So I'm excited about those, and they look really cool.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
If you guys haven't noticed with my stuff doesn't look like a lot of other things. Most holster manufacturers, in my opinion, and knife sheath makers, if that's in the same boat, I just don't think people are very imaginative. And they make these rectangle boxes and square, all these right angles. I think it's the type A personalities that are very prevalent in the gun industry. I am not a type A. I don't know what I am. I'm a C. But anyway, I like flowy, curvy. I like things that look a little bit more organic, maybe. I don't know. And so this new mag carrier, just like the old ones, had lots of curves and stuff in them too, just because that's pleasing to the eye, in my opinion, and that's important to me. Might not be important to you guys. I don't know. I don't care. I'm making this stuff because I like it. But the new ones, I think, take it up a notch, and they're going to be more functional because of all the different belt clips that they'll take. So anyway, that's cool. We're releasing a new asp, which is, the asps are designed specifically for appendix carry. You can run them strong side or whatever if you want to, but that's primarily what they're designed for. A new one coming out, and I haven't decided on a name yet, but it's going to be a bit of a modular design, and it will come with a spare mag carrier attached to it. I am totally not a fan of holsters with mag carriers attached to them because it usually sets it up in the wrong place. Appendix carry is the exception because it sits right in front, and it's the mag carrier's on the left side if you're right-handed, so it makes for a really natural draw. So that's the only exception I will make if you want a mag carrier attached to your holster, because everywhere else it's a stupid idea. But
nice.
The cool thing about it, like I said, it's going to be modular, so you can run it with or without the mag carrier on there. The mag carrier you can run independently. You can run the mag carrier inside the waist or outside the waist. So it's kind of a cool way to get something that has a lot of features that'll do a lot of things. So many people are just bent on appendix carry because that's what Joe bearded guy on the internet says you have to have, and then they try it and they go, oh, this is really uncomfortable. Is this really what carrying concealed is supposed to feel like?
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of appendix carry personally. I think it is great for some people, but not everybody. Like,
probably different body types.
Exactly. So this holster's designed to where if you get it and all of a sudden you're like, appendix carry sucks, I hate this. Well, you can pop the mag carrier off, run it over inside or outside the waist on your left side, run the holster around onto your strong side, pull the claw off because you won't need that if it's not right in front of you.
Yeah.
And put a cant on it so that it is tilted forward for a decent draw while it's on your strong side. So it's going to give you some options to do a lot of different things.
Okay.
So that one was exciting. There's probably some other things, but those are the products I'm most excited about. Don't forget to check out my knives. Well, they're not my knives, but I sell them. The BPS knives.
The knife combo kits with the little ferro rods, or I shouldn't say little, they're big.
Beefy
quite large.
ferro rods.
Yeah.
What's funny...
They make the best gifts, by the way. I gave one to my dad, and he was pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Most of the knives I have sold locally. Because when somebody comes in and sees them sitting there and picks them up, they're like, whoa, these are nice. And how much are these? And I tell them, they're like, are you kidding? Because they're inexpensive, but they are very good quality. And that's hard to portray in a crappy picture on a website and a description.
I sent a guy over to you.
Yeah?
My plumber.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I think he brought a bunch of stuff.
I've done quite a bit for him lately. In fact, he was just in the shop this morning picking stuff up. What day was it? I think it was Monday. He sent me a text. He's like, hey, can you make me a carrier for these? And he sends me a picture of like these channel locks. And I'm like, or he says, I need something to carry my Leatherman and these channel locks. And I was like, okay, bring them over. I said, Leatherman, no problem. The Leatherman, the bigger Leathermans, if you have a Leatherman and your case is worn out, you're one of the guys that's, got one on your hip all the time, those cases don't last very long. My double stack 45 ACP Venom mag carrier will fit the big Leathermans perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you have a little bit smaller version, the 9mm double stack fits them. And they work awesome because the retention's adjustable on them. Uh-huh. So you just
adjust the retention.
It fits the width perfect, and then just adjust the retention to what you want, and you have about 1.5 inches of the the tool sticking out above it, so it's easy to grab, doesn't sit there and poke you in the side. The channel locks, I was like, oh, these are going to be a pain in the butt. I don't know how I'm going to do this. They're these German, they're really nice. In fact, I told him, I'm like, can you get me some of these? You know? And he's like, okay, I'll bring them by later this afternoon. And by the time he showed up, he's like, maybe if you did this or that. I said, I already know what to do. He's like, oh, okay. He's just, thinking about it while I was working on other stuff. After talking to him, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Sometimes that works great. Sometimes it's like I have to try 3 or 4 times and tweaking things and changing how I block stuff out, because it had a button on the side to adjust the mouth and all these things. This was one of those moments. It took me some time to set it up. I mean, I'm cutting blocks of wood and I'm molding clay and doing stuff to, get this thing just right. Molded it, took it out, shaped it, worked perfect.
Nice.
The first time.
Nice.
So, and he's like, dude, and I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened yet. I'm going to sell so many of these for you. All my buddies, all my plumber friends, da 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 da. This is actually one, he's going to get me a set of these wrenches, because they're nice wrenches. I want them anyway. I'm going to probably put them on my website. Not the wrenches themselves, but the carrier. Yeah. Because he's like, these pliers are so easy to use and so versatile. He's like, I just replaced a faucet at a house. He's like, that's the only tool I used.
Huh.
He's like, I did everything with this one wrench. I was like, this thing is I'm always using it. He's like, if it was on my belt, it would be so much easier. So he came in this morning and picked it up, and he was literally giggling. He was so excited about it. So
concealment solutions. If you need a holster for your
wrench,
talk to Jason.
Yeah, and when you check out, use the code Show Me the Candy. That'll save you 15%. Anyway, I also forgot. Moving locations. Moving locations. Probably going to be October 1st. The new location is going to be even easier to find, I think. It's going to be right off of State Street in North Orem. There won't be parking issues like there are where I am now, with a used car lot always in the way.
Those guys are annoying, by the way.
I know they are. They're not bad people. They're just not very considerate of anybody other than themselves.
Yes.
And it's going to be double the size that I'm in now.
Oh, that'll be good.
And
good for you.
The plan.
Where's it going to be?
About 1100 North State Street in Orem.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not right on the road. It's tucked back a little bit, but it's pretty easy to find. It's right behind what used to be Gary's Service and another used car lot. But they have a fence around their thing, so they can't get out.
Yeah.
Get in the way. The long-term plan is to have an actual retail store in that location, and it's got a huge shop space also. So, my idea, and depends on, how things go to build it out. But you'll walk in and it'll look kind of like a small store. I'm looking at getting a few mannequins that are going to be all decked out in gear, and it'll be a fun shop. And I'm looking to expand a little bit more, like with the knives, into more preparedness and bug out type stuff and things like that I like. Because that's why I started this business, because it's stuff I like.
Yeah.
And people just happen to like it also, which, has been able to provide a living for me, which is awesome. So anyway, that's what's up with Concealment Solutions. Let's jump into some news stories.
All right.
We have several news stories that we want to hit. First of all, if you remember way back to the last episode we recorded,
a long time ago,
we had a story about a pool guy who showed up late.
Was this in Florida?
It was in Florida.
How come all the crazy stuff happens in Florida?
Because that's where all the crazy old people go.
Something, right? Like Florida man.
All the guys that don't want you on their lawn. And anyway, just to refresh everybody's memory, guy shows up late to
clean a
service a pool. Okay, the woman in the house sees a stranger in her backyard and yells at him to get out and leave, and he completely ignores her. The husband grabs his AR-15 and proceeds to dump a 30-round magazine through the backyard at this guy. Doesn't hit him, and we'll explain why in a minute. But anyway, it was just kind of crazy. There were a lot of unanswered questions, and I put out there. I said, "Hey, if anybody happens to live out there, or anybody that knows more on this story, I'd love some more information." Well, a couple weeks later, a listener called me at the shop, which was cool. He also placed an order, which was even cooler. But and I'm sorry I can't remember the name because it's been a few weeks now. But anyway, he called me. He's like, "Hey, I live in this area. Here's more information on that." The pool guy was ignoring them because he had earbuds in. Couldn't hear them. Didn't know what was going on. He just knew he had a busy day and he was showing up to do his last pool for the day or whatever a few hours later than expected. The couple, and I don't know what's going on with this couple, they had surveillance cameras. So they could have looked at surveillance, and maybe that's what she was looking at. I don't know. But it would seem like you wouldn't necessarily want to open fire on somebody, even if it's a random stranger that just decided to come and start cleaning your pool. That just seems odd to me. But the guy was shooting through a glass door that had a curtain over it. So he had no idea what he was even shooting at to begin with. The 911 call, he said, he's like, I heard the 911 call also. And the wife is on the phone and she's yelling at her, "Stop shooting, stop shooting, stop shooting." He stops for a moment and then proceeds to finish unloading the magazine.
He's got more rounds in the magazine, right? Gotta fire him off. That's like when you take, like, new people shooting.
Yeah.
However many rounds you put in the magazine is how many rounds they're gonna shoot
as fast as they can.
Yep. So you always just get a 30-round mag and you just load like 5 rounds in it, and then. So anyway, I was grateful to get more information. It just made the story even crazier. Lucky that guy didn't get hit, but it's no wonder he didn't get hit. The guy couldn't even see what he was shooting at. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah. And I asked this guy I was talking to, I'm like, "So is this like out in a rural area?" He's like, "No, it's like a full-on close neighborhood." So I don't know how spraying 30 rounds didn't hit somebody or something, the guy's just lucky. He's lucky he's not in jail.
Well, both guys are lucky. Extremely lucky. One guy's lucky he's not dead. The other guy's lucky he's not in jail. Yeah, because that was incredibly irresponsible. Now, the pool guy, he probably has a pretty good case for a civil lawsuit, Yeah, it's the tough part is if you're shouting at this guy to leave.
Yeah.
And he's not leaving.
Right.
And he keeps rummaging through
He keeps cleaning your pool.
Well, a lot of times you got your pool closet or whatever.
Right.
So he's like rummaging
going
through
their stuff.
Sure. It would appear like that. So you just got really bad miscommunication. Which,
all I know, I'm not pulling the trigger on anything that I can't see.
Well, that's the other thing is the laws of or the four rules of gun safety, right?
Yeah.
You got to verify your target.
Right.
And
what's behind it.
And he didn't verify his target ever.
No.
Or identify the target, whatever you want to say.
Right.
He did not identify what he was actually going to shoot at or try to shoot at.
Yeah. Well,
maybe the guy had a haircut. I
don't know. and my thing also is, and I've thought about this, I've got a shop behind my house, and if I woke up in the middle of the night and saw somebody out there, I would not start shooting at them. I just wouldn't,
Yeah.
I would have my gun on me, and they would be very aware of that, but I wouldn't just open fire on somebody that was trying to steal from me like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the tough part too, is you don't know what was said. You don't know, "Hey, get off my lawn, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here." How many times they shouted and...
But if you are going to use deadly force, you have to be able to show that you were in fear for your life or great bodily.
In some places.
True.
So
In
personal
most places.
property, there's the moral issue and then the legal
Right.
issue, right?
Right.
Some things, it's like the title of our last podcast. I think we called it like lawful but awful.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are
Right.
things like, it would technically be legal to shoot someone who's like stealing something, right?
Yeah.
But is it worth taking a life over,
Right.
let's say, some
lawnmower.
junky thing on
Yeah.
on your property and they're stealing?
Right.
For me, no,
Right.
it's not worth it.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm coming
And
from.
so,
You know,
yeah.
if I'm in my car and somebody's carjacking me and the car's full of my family,
Oh yeah,
they're getting shot in the face.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yes, yeah, to protect
Right.
the lives.
Because then you're protecting lives. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's an update on that story. I sent Taco a video. This one was just awesome.
I think it's made the rounds on a lot of like social media and stuff.
Probably. There's a guy, he's a big dude.
Really big guy.
He's at the 7-Eleven or whatever, the gas station convenience store. He's got his, was it a 6-pack or a 12-pack?
I don't know.
He's got his light beer because he doesn't want to pack on any more weight, right?
Yeah.
And he's carrying his beer in his left hand. Meanwhile, and this is all on surveillance camera, guy comes in,
And he puts on a mask.
puts on a mask, and is holding a box cutter.
It's a box cutter knife, yes.
To the attendant there, and is robbing him. This guy is so chill. He's so casual. He sees what's going on.
He kind of like looks over there and then he like kind of moves into position.
Draws his gun. Ends up firing 6 rounds at this guy. Never puts the beer down.
He fires one-handed.
One-handed. Well, you have to. You
Don't want to drop the beer.
You don't. That would make a mess. So, anyway, he fires 2 or 3 shots, pauses, fires 3 more shots because the guy was still
Said the
coming
guy was
at him or something.
moving towards him
Yeah.
or something like that.
Ends up shooting the guy in the arm, in the face.
I know, he
in
got shot.
a few other places, and then he proceeds to just hold him at gunpoint.
He walks out to his car, reloads, because he had an extra, and then he comes back in and holds him.
I missed that part. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm out." He goes get it. He goes and gets his spare mag.
Probably it looked like a
reloads.
smaller gun,
Yeah.
like maybe it was a Glock 43 or something like that.
But then he comes back in and holds the guy
Yeah.
on the ground until the law enforcement comes.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It was interesting. And if you watch the video, and prosecutors could have a heyday with this if they so decide. Everything was just so easygoing, casual pace and everything. There could be an argument that nobody was really in grave danger, but the worker thanked the guy for, he said, he saved my life.
Yep.
So we don't know what was said between the worker and the robber and stuff like that. So it definitely could have been escalated. I mean, he had a weapon. He was perfectly capable, and I'm sure telling this guy that he was going to harm him if he didn't get what he wanted. So, but it was just great. This guy, most people would be like, "Hey, hold my beer." Not this guy. Watch this. I'll hold my own beer. But that was kind of a
The other thing I thought was interesting is that for shooting one-handed,
yeah,
shots on target were
Pretty
were pretty good.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
because when it was saying that he got shot in the face and the arm and whatever,
Yeah.
it's like, it looks like he only shot like 6 times or something. So
Yeah.
that was pretty high percentage
Yeah.
shooting one-handed holding beer.
yeah, holding the beer. So I foresee this being a stage at the next IDPA match. Okay, beep, grab your beer. 6 shots on target.
3 shots.
Yeah.
Wait 2 seconds. 3 shots.
3 shots, move around the potato chip display. 3 more shots on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, that would be pretty awesome to see at a competition. Okay, I have one more news story that I want to read. This one's short, but it's important. A convicted sex offender was shot and killed by a woman while trying to break into her Arizona home last week. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said 42-year-old Jason Magrum died in the August 11th shooting at the home in 3 Points just outside Tucson. According to Sheriff's Department, Magrum was trying to break into a woman's home. She told him to leave, but he did not stop. Officials said the woman then grabbed a gun and fired a warning shot. Don't fire warning shots.
Yeah.
They don't ever work out well. Magrum then tried to disarm her, and he was shot and killed. So he made it into the house.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
In the description, it said he died inside the home.
Yeah.
So he was inside.
The woman who was not named... deputies said the woman was uninjured and is cooperating with the investigation. The woman who was not named is not facing any charges. Magrum was a registered sex offender in the Arizona Department of Public Safety's Offender Watch website. The website said he was convicted in Utah of attempted forcible sexual abuse, a second-degree felony. You hear that, California? It's a felony here. According to Arizona Department of Corrections, Magrum was also convicted of aggravated domestic violence in Pima County in 2014. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison after that one. So, scary situation.
You just can't get enough.
Yeah, there are some people that don't learn.
Yeah, some of them, the only cure is, their own demise.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel bad for
bad.
the woman who has to deal with that now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a traumatic situation for sure. But the lesson that we've, I think, learned, she got lucky. If he had his hands on her and on her gun trying to disarm her,
yeah, he could have killed her with it.
Very easily.
Yeah.
That's warning shots aren't ever a good idea.
Yeah, people see that in
movies.
TV and movies all the time. It's like, or they have to cock that hammer back on like a hammerless gun.
On a Glock.
Yeah, like,
Glock 17.
It's like click click.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
But anyway, I'm glad that worked out to her advantage and that she was not harmed in that situation. But that's why private gun ownership is important.
Yeah. On a really side note, I was watching this one anime.
Oh no!
I know, right? But this girl was going to these mercenaries to get some training. They went through the 4 rules of gun safety.
Really?
Like legit.
Huh?
I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, they had all 4 rules of gun safety. I was very impressed.
Huh?
Anyways, a weird side note.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad to know there's still something good on TV.
Not Hollywood, but
Yeah, definitely not Hollywood. Cool. Okay, should we just kind of catch people up on what we've been up to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah, we can go back and forth too.
Okay. So I'll start with what I did with guns, because that's what people are listening for.
Yes, that's a good idea.
So lots of stuff with air guns. So I got that Notos recently, and I got...
Have you shot it? Sighted it in?
Yeah. Yep, I did. I put that, was it a Crossfire?
Yeah, I
Vortex
think so.
Crossfire 2.
Yeah.
Little
Just
22 caliber.
Scope. Yeah.
Inexpensive scope on it. Worked great. That thing shoots
like
very nice.
Pretty good for
the
low-end gun.
And it's got its own moderator on it.
Yeah, pretty quiet.
Yeah. It's like I didn't feel like I needed anything more.
The mag is small. Was it 6 or 7?
The mag is... I can't remember. It might be 8.
8? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Whatever it is, it's pretty small.
It's a little small. I'd like to get some more mags for it, but they don't have any. That gun's so popular, they just
just
having
don't lose
trouble.
that mag then.
I know.
That would be a
I
bummer.
know. But totally happy with that gun. And it's just a slick design. It's very easy to use, ergonomic. I'm not crazy about the charge handle, the way it snaps in flat.
Oh,
You
yeah.
kind of have to pop it out with your finger
Yeah.
to cock it, but
The adjustable stock is nice.
yep.
It has a lot of nice features
Yeah.
for a cheap gun.
It's not super high powered. It's fairly
I
low
think Stan
velocity.
should get one of those
for sure.
just to
Anybody that's like
a foot in.
I want to get into it, but it's just too much for me. That's an awesome one. And you know, depending on where you live, how much space you have, it's not a bad backyard gun.
It's very small and compact.
Yeah.
Unlike the Avenger.
Yeah.
Avenger's long.
Yeah.
I would say the Avenger's a better gun for killing stuff
Probably, yeah.
because it has the longer air tube, more capacity,
hits
a little bit more
harder,
power.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
And that one, I told you I got the wood stock version
Yeah.
for Noah.
Uh-huh.
He finally got to use it on that one squirrel hunt, and
Yeah.
he was just slaying the squirrels
Yeah.
with that. And so, yeah, those two guns are probably my picks for the low end
Yeah.
entry stuff.
Yep. They're both awesome
Air Venturi
guns.
Avenger and is it Umarex Notos?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those two are good.
And I learned something. So I got another moderator, a Huggett moderator in 25 cal because I use one on my Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my AEA in 25 cal, I was having to swap it back and forth. And I'm like, this is stupid. I'm just going to get another moderator. And so I put that moderator on my AEA, 25 cal, semi-automatic. I took it out and I was shooting it. And I'm like, I can't hear it hitting the target. I'm like, what is going on? And then every now and then I'd hear one hit the target. And I'm like, where are my shots going? You know, because I wasn't shooting very far. I was shooting about 20 yards, you know, and I'm like, what is going on? And I shake the gun and I hear this rattle. And I'm like, oh, crap. And so I thought that the pellets were getting trapped in the moderator. Take the moderator off, there's nothing in it. I didn't realize the AEA has got baffles in it also. So I took the shroud off, took it off. There was like 6 pellets in there. Not a single baffle strike. I'd loaded it with 22 cal pellets. And so they're like
falling.
just skidding down the barrel and dropping into the baffles inside the gun. But this is what I learned from that. So I took it all apart and I was like, oh, this has got quite a few baffles in it. I wonder I'd never shot it without a moderator on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it all back together and I start shooting it without the moderator on, and I'm like,
Just as quiet?
yeah.
Yeah.
I had my wife, I'm like, if anybody's gonna notice the difference, she will. She actually thought it sounded louder with the moderator on it. Which it couldn't have, but anyway, so I was like, oh, well, I bought this nice Huggett moderator and I don't need it. But anyway, so yeah.
Well, let me know if you need to get rid of it.
Well, the Huggett's on the... I like the Huggett's better than the
Donnies?
The Donnies. The Donnies are great. The Huggett's are just a little classier looking. I like the cuts in it with the... They're just cosmetically more attractive.
Yeah.
And, well, the only other one I have is the Atom, the super tiny one that I have on my Benjamin. It's super quiet and it's puny.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I've had good luck with the Donnies. I got that big fat one. What is it called? Is it the Sumo?
The Sumo, yeah.
That's on. I think that's on my Crown.
Yeah.
And my Crown is so quiet.
Yeah.
When I'm shooting.
I don't have any complaints about the Donnies. The Donnies are great. The Huggett's, like I said, it's just a cosmetic thing. They have those spirally flame-looking cuts in the sides that are kind of cool.
Yeah, and you know me, I could care less about that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways.
So anyway, I did that. 4th of July, we were up at my in-laws with all my wife's family there, and I set up a shooting range in the backyard with the air guns. And you know what's funny? It's like I have all these nephews and people there. Only the women shot.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my father-in-law shot also. But even my mother-in-law, you know, she's what, 75, 74. She's like, well, I want to shoot one.
Yeah.
Come on out.
I think with the women, all you gotta do is get one to try it, and then it like the rest will do it. You know?
Yeah. But all my daughters that are hit and miss on whether they want to shoot or not, they were all out there shooting them, and so that was a good time. But anyway, as far as what I've done with guns, that's all I can remember. I'm sure there was some other things, but
so what I did with guns, we had a family reunion up in Washington, and my brother, he he has I think it's like the same, he like carbon copied my air gun build.
Yeah.
So he has a Crown with the Vortex Razor, what is it, the long or lightweight hunter LHT scope. Anyways, we went out to, he told me, hey, are you gonna bring your air gun? Because he likes it, because then we go out to my in-laws farm. Yeah. And we take care of a bunch of pests. That's where we got all those rabbits before. Right. And so we got a couple of I don't know, rock chalk things. They were bigger this time. Yeah. I think the ones we shot last time were babies, and then and they were all grown up this time. They're big. But and those you got to get them like in the head. Do headshots on those. And so, anyways, I was stalking this one, like it was in this wood pile, and so I'm at my brother-in-law's house, and they have this little kiddie playhouse, and so I'm like sneaking over there, and I pop through the window of their little kiddie playhouse, and I pop one of those, like right in the head. But, nice. He loves it when we come out because we take care of a bunch of their pests. Right. But, so we spent a bunch of time killing starlings. Oh, okay. There's a ton out there. Yeah. And so driving through the orchards.
Bad on a fruit farm.
Yeah, driving through the orchards, shooting starlings, and quite a few. That's all I'll just say. Quite a few. Yeah. So we did that. We also had a family reunion, and so he asked if I was going to take it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll bring it. So I brought it, and there were these rabbits, but they were like, what do you call them? Like, not wild. They're wild, but domestic breeds, like pet breeds. Oh. All these like little black pet rabbit breeds like running around.
Somebody like, let their rabbit up.
Yeah, produce. And then they produce. But anyways, we were like, we probably shouldn't shoot those ones. They probably have names. So, anyways. And gun-wise,
bought anything new lately?
I did. Yeah? I know, it's surprising because I haven't bought stuff for a while.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. I got one of the Aero Precision bolt actions. Oh. One of their kind of chassis long-range rifles. Okay. I got a good deal on one of those, and so...
What caliber?
Plumber buddy and I bought twin guns and twin scopes.
Oh, nice.
So we put six Creedmoor, so 6mm Creedmoor. Huh. So it's like 6.5 Creedmoor, neck down just a little bit. Huh. Supposedly you get a little bit more, higher BC bullets and stuff. Yeah. We got these ones just for long range plinking. Yeah. And so, and they're kind of a nice setup with the chassis that they come with, and it's basically a Remington 700 action. Okay. But the top rail is milled into it. Okay. So, or machined into it, so you don't have to buy like a rail
adapter, and all that kind of stuff.
You just mount the scope rings directly onto the receiver, like an AR-15, which is, I like that. I think that's a great idea because then you don't have to worry about screws or screws coming loose or heads breaking off or whatever.
Anytime you have multiple connecting points, there's more opportunity for things to go wrong or to get out of alignment or whatever.
Yeah, so I helped my plumber buddy get the scope mounted on his gun, and it was right before I left, and so I still need to get mine mounted and stuff. But anyways, super excited about that. I still need to go to Gunny's and grab some 6mm Creedmoor dies, and then I have the brass. We got some small rifle primer Lapua brass, so we're gonna play around with some good stuff. Hopefully it's good stuff, but yeah, got some bullets that I want to try out.
Cool.
And then we figured we'd just try stuff, see if it works in both guns. The
Yeah.
same load, same whatever.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there will be little differences.
Right.
But if we could figure out a load that works well in both, then it'd make it nice, because then we just load up
Right.
a batch of them
Right.
together. And
Yeah.
so did that, and then I took that one group shooting. I can't remember if I talked about that last time. I don't think I did, because
I don't think we did either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
but it was fun. I brought way too many guns out there.
You always
I
do.
know. I let them pick, and I mean, we took the pump action AR,
Yeah.
458 SOCOM.
Yeah.
That was fun, except it kept knocking over targets.
Yeah.
Like, it hits the steel with, it's such a big bullet going slow. It pushes the targets,
Right.
and so it swings them so far back that the legs lift up.
Yeah.
So it lifts the legs, and then once the legs lift up, then it kind of walks around, bobbles, and then falls over.
Right.
And so, if you hit like a corner or something, then it will swing it, so it doesn't swing it straight back.
Right.
And it's fine. But if you get a dead hit, and if it's even middle low, that's even worse. And
Yeah.
it just swings that target back and then makes it walk and fall. Took the Ruger Marlin 4570 out.
Okay.
And that one was super fun. But it was funny because when I took that family group shooting previously, there were a couple different people. Then they didn't have the silencer on it.
Oh.
And so it was blowing them back a bit,
Yeah.
like, oh man, this is crazy, like
Yeah.
a big old push to the shoulder.
Uh-huh.
And so they were like, they told the new guys that hadn't been there before, they're like, hey, yeah, you gotta try this. And then I had the silencer on it, and it wasn't as impressive. They're like, wait, what's going on? It doesn't kick as much as it did before.
Huh.
I was like, oh, we could take the silencer off. So we took it off, and then, So the silencers offer quite a bit of recoil reduction besides the, sound
Noise
management.
reduction.
But yeah, they had fun with that, and the ARs. I took out I let them shoot it's kind of an oddball AR. It's a 24-inch bull barrel, stainless heavy barrel, just in 223 Wild, And but they thought that was cool because it has a decent scope on it.
Yeah.
I think it's like a PST or something.
Yeah.
And so they shot that, and just no recoil or very little.
Yeah.
And it had a silencer on it too, one of the Hugget silencers, like
Oh.
the flow throughs.
Yeah.
And just they could hit whatever. Like
Right.
it was really accurate. So
Yeah.
anyways, they had fun with that one. And the bunny farts. Bunny farts they always run out soonest.
Yeah.
So I took the break action pistol and rifle, and with the silencers, and they were just having a heyday with those. They couldn't believe how quiet it was.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
anyways, they shot some big stuff too. The 50 cal. I brought the
Oh, nice.
the AR-50 and the 500 Smith & Wesson. And anyways, it was a really good time. They spent a lot of money on ammo,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
It turned out good.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Nice.
so what else have you been doing this summer?
Other than that, I've been doing a lot of canyoneering with friends, and I've become kind of one of the
guides.
One of the guides, yeah, for our boys at church. Yeah, that was a really fun trip. Did 3 canyons in 4 days, and the last one, Birch Hollow. Did I tell you what happened with that?
No, you didn't, because
So
okay. First off, that one is I have not done it.
Yeah.
and I need to do it.
I need to do it again.
Yeah. So when you want to go, let's go do it.
Okay.
And because I want to try out a couple different ropes too.
Okay. So
But,
so for those of you who don't know, Birch Hollow it's just outside of Zion. So any canyon that you do in Zion, you have to get permits for.
Yeah, Birch
and
Hollow
some
you
of them
don't.
are really hard to get. Birch Hollow, you don't need a permit, but it ends really close to the border of the park. And a lot of people you can get a permit for Orderville Canyon, and you can go continue down the canyon, and it's really beautiful and everything, and it ends you down in Zion, but it's a really long day.
Mm-hmm.
So the exit for Birch Hollow, if you just have one car and park at the top, is like a 5-hour bushwhack following game trails, and it's pretty miserable from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
You can park a car down lower, and you exit out on like a 2-mile 4-wheel drive trail. And so it's a lot easier, and then you can drive back up to your car. So we had 3 different times planned to go do Birch Hollow, me and some of the other leaders, because none of us had done it before.
Yeah.
And we don't like to take the boys into canyons that none of us have done before.
Yeah.
Just because there's always an unknown, right?
Yeah.
Never could get it together to where we could go do it. So we go do this canyon with the boys, having none of us ever done it before. We did the first rappel that I will never do again, because it's a 90-foot free hang over very sharp rocks and loose stuff. Didn't realize that was the one we could bypass.
Yeah. Because
you just walk right up to the edge, and we were just kind of a little too gung-ho, I think. Anyway, that wasn't that big of a deal, but hard on equipment, and it was a really slow rappel for most people. Anyway, the rest of the canyon went awesome. No problems. Perfect. This was the last of 3 canyons that we did.
Now, there were,
boys.
we had 11 rappels or something? That one has a lot of rappels.
There's 8, I think. 8 or 9. Anyway, so I was the only one.
How big was your group?
We had 12.
Okay, that's a large group.
Yeah. And we moved them through pretty good. We have a pretty good system.
Did you kind of leapfrog?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's what's nice, if you have multiple leaders who can do the setups.
Right. And
then you can leapfrog.
We had 2 ropes, so we just kind of leapfrogged and just kept people moving. And some of there's a few spots where it's like you bottom out on the rappel, and 20 feet from where you're standing is the next rappel.
Mm-hmm.
And so it worked out really well. Anyway.
Did you take just a couple long ropes, or did you have a couple short ones with you?
That one we just had 2 long ropes. Okay. When we did Pine Creek, we did Pine Creek and Keyhole, and we had like a 50-foot rope that we used a lot.
I was going to say, sometimes in those canyons, you just need like a 50-footer.
Yeah.
And even like a 8-point-something millimeter, like an 8.5.
Yeah.
Like a skinny one to do
just some really
like 100 foot like skinny rope is nice, because then the rope management is easier.
Yeah.
And you go to the next one, the next one, the next one. So anyways.
So anyway, I was the only one who printed off the info for the thing. We were all familiar with the route as far as what we read,
mm-hmm.
and we were so paranoid about the exit and getting off on those game trails. We got to the bottom, and you kind of come out into this other canyon, and we're like, the 3 of us were in agreement, we do not go up that way. And my mind was, you head down the canyon until you hit the Jeep road.
Mm-hmm.
That was wrong. We ended up in Zion.
Oh no.
We left at 10 in the morning. We got to the parking lot at the Narrows in Zion.
Oh no.
At 9 p.m. We were supposed to be home with all those boys before dinner time. And we're in this canyon,
and that was your last day.
No cell service. And so one of the other leaders, there was 4 of us, had injured his hand the second day, and so he's like, I'm just gonna drive into Cedar City and hang out, and I'll meet up with you guys.
So you were able to call him, and
not until we were out of.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're hiking down.
Were there more rappels than...
There was only one, and it was really short.
Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely gorgeous canyon, and you're hiking through anything from knee to waist deep water. It was awesome. And one of our leaders was absolutely having a panic attack and freaking out, and he had a GPS unit with an SOS button.
Oh no!
No.
Okay.
We almost had to wrestle it out of his hand. Like, don't push that button.
Oh, that is a very, very expensive button.
I'm like, don't push that button. We don't know where we are. We have a really good idea where we are. We're going to be fine. And we'd be walking, and I kind of took up a position in the back after a while. Just, I guess with coaching mountain bikes, we always have a sweep.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to play sweep and make sure nobody starts lagging, make sure everybody's okay. And every now and then a boy would kind of pull back and he'd be like, are we going to be okay? Are we going to get out of here? I'm like, we're fine. I'm like, tomorrow at this time, you're going to be home. Everything is going to be good. Okay. Not one of those boys complained once the entire time. And it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. And we were running out of water and food. And anyway, so we're getting toward the end. And finally we're like, oh, we're in the Narrows. One of the guys, he's like, I know exactly where we are. Around the next corner, there's going to be a waterfall. We're almost to the parking lot. I'm like, okay. I was starting to get a little anxious because the sun was setting. We're all soaking wet. It's, in those canyons, I mean, it's like
it gets cold.
It's like 95 degrees in Zion, but in those canyons, it's closer to 70. And when you're wet, and then the sun's going down, so I'm like, we're going to be in a bad spot here really soon with these boys if we're not almost out. And he's like, I know exactly where we are. I'm like, okay, we're good then. And then I got thinking, how are we going to get back to our cars?
That's what I was going to ask.
So, and I'm like, Zion shuts down, The park rangers all lock everything up and they all leave. And everyone's gone. And so we're walking down and I'm like, what are we going to do? And I notice up in front of me, my buddy that is the other experienced leader, he's talking with these two guys. And I'm like, who? I don't recognize these guys. And I walk up. It's two college-age guys that had just come down another canyon that emptied into that. They had got kind of lost and were delayed. So we're talking to them like, yeah, we're from Provo and this and that. We're like, oh, really? And so we're like, we're explaining what's going on with us and everything. We're like, oh, well, where are you guys parked? We're like, we're parked way up, in this area here. They're like, oh, we've got to go get a car up there too. We'll give you a ride. It's like, no freaking way. We get to the parking lot, totally empty. The gate's closed and locked at the opening of the parking lot. So they had 2 cars up there and 5 guys and 1 car down there. So they're like, we'll just leave 2 of our guys here in the parking lot. They can just hang out with your boys and the other leader.
Yeah, go get your car.
We'll take you guys up, get your cars. We'll grab our cars. Everyone will be good. And so, yeah, we got home at 5 a.m.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
But it was the other leader that we left out, he was communicating with families and everything.
Okay, that's good.
He's just going, okay, they should be out. I don't know where they are. He's like, I'm not concerned. He's like, they probably just took a wrong turn. I'm sure they'll from them soon. Kept everybody calm. We had one mom that was like, I want my son to call me as soon as he can. So I'm like, dude, call your mom.
Yeah.
But nobody had any issues, So we get home at 5 a.m. on Sunday, and we have church at 11:30.
Oh, jeez.
All those boys were at church.
That's cool.
I thought that really made me feel good.
That's cool.
That was pretty much every day somebody almost died. And I'll tell you about that all later. It was an awesome trip.
It's funny to say that and then to say it's an awesome trip and somebody almost died.
There was I mean, no lie. We had a couple other situations where people should have been very seriously hurt and were not. And you look back at things, I was eyewitness to one of them, and it was like, where that person fell and landed is everybody else that came down afterwards landed in an entirely different spot. There's no reason in the world why he should have landed where he did, other than that was the best place for him to land and not get hurt.
Yeah. It's crazy though.
So,
you talk about guardian angels.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Stuff. Taking for us leaders that we take these youth on these things, and for one thing is canyoneering has an inherent risk involved, no matter all the safety precautions that you take.
Risks.
Anytime you're in the outdoors in that kind of scenario, there's risk involved. But you can mitigate most of those risks, or a lot of them, just through safety and practices and planning and
Right.
stuff like that. But despite all your planning and safety and everything,
Things can still
go wrong.
Yeah.
And as like a church youth leader, where I take these kids and do those kind of things.
Yeah.
It seems like something always happens, but there's
Yeah.
this guardian angel.
Yep.
I mean, I can't remember if I mentioned it on the podcast or not about our trip in Zion, where we had like a kid who stepped on a boulder in the subway. I mean, this over 500-pound boulder, and it rolled.
Oh gosh.
And he went over the back of it, hit his head on the rocks back there. But
Yeah.
and this wasn't like in the canyon yet. We were doing this steep down climb to get into the canyon.
Yeah.
And we just had a thought, hey, let's put on our helmets, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And so we did. And then that happened like right after. And, that boulder could have broke his leg. It could have pinned him. It could have so many different things.
Yeah.
And Noah, on one of the obstacles, there's there's water flowing on this, around two sides of a boulder, and you have to go over the boulder and drop down like, I don't know, 10, 15 feet or so. And there's a hand line, and he made the mistake of wrapping it.
Oh, around his hand?
Instead of just holding on to it.
Oh, yeah.
He wrapped it. He gave it one wrap, and then he slipped on the boulder, and he was hanging there with his arm hyperextended, just dangling. And I'm like, let go of the rope, let go of the rope. And then he says, I can't. And then I swim, because I went first, and I just start swimming through the pool as fast as I can to get back. But another kid, was able to get his hand loose.
Yeah.
And he was able to drop down safely. But,
Yeah.
it could have pulled his shoulder out of socket, could
Yeah.
have broken
Broke
his
his
arm
elbow.
or elbow.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that could happen, even despite, the safety gear and equipment.
Yep.
But the youth who go on those activities receive an experience that it's life-changing, and there's no way they can get that experience any other way.
Yeah. So
And
we had a family that just moved in, just bought a house 4 doors down from us from India.
Oh.
And they have a 14-year-old, and this was like literally, they moved in maybe a month before this trip. And so we're like, hey, you want to go? This is what we're doing. Yeah. And we're like, have you ever rappelled before? What's that? Okay. So some of the other guys took him and some of the others that hadn't rappelled before up Rock Canyon and did some rappelling just to make sure they weren't going to freak out and everything.
Yeah.
And this kid, man, he was so hilarious. He's awesome. I love this kid. But we're like driving. I'm like, just so you know, we're going to be in like some of the most beautiful places in the world. You don't see anything like this anywhere else in the world. He's like, oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of blown away. And while we're driving...
You're talking about to Zion?
Yeah.
Just
in
for the viewers
those
or
canyons-
listeners, it's hard to describe in words the beauty of those canyons.
Yeah.
You
But just
can't
look it up online. Don't come here.
Yeah. I'll do a video and I'll show you. But like even in video and photos, it does not capture the color and the depth and everything.
Well, and then when you're canyoneering, you get into places that are just that much more over the top.
Yes.
But this kid was hilarious because we would drive, and my family, we have a podcast we like to listen to on road trips called Spooked. And it's like people telling real ghost stories that happened to them and stuff like that. And so we would listen to those, and he'd be getting all freaked out. We get back to there was one we listened to.
So the podcast is called Spooked?
Yeah.
So all my kids love scary shows,
Spooked.
all that stuff. But Carly gets terrified. So whenever she goes on like a girls trip, we just binge watch scary shows and scary stuff.
Spooked. It's a great one.
Yeah.
But anyway, we listened to one on this Native American guy was talking about skinwalkers and stuff, and these experiences that they had.
I need to know the episode of that because there's one kid in our group from Brazil, and we tease him about skinwalkers at every camp out.
I'll look it up and let you know.
We'll have to play that episode driving to a camp out.
So we're driving to our camp on the first day, and he's like, "Oh, where are we camping?" I'm like, "Oh, we're camping at Navajo Lake." And he just listened to this podcast with all these Native Americans and everything. He's like, Navajo, Navajo. Dude, we get there and we're all set up and everything. And, well, first of all, he comes to me. He says, I have a question. I'm like, okay. He's like, I forgot my sleeping bag. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's not a question. Second of all, what's wrong with you? I specifically made sure this kid had everything he needed, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. I always, in my Forerunner, I always keep
Have an
extra
extra.
blankets and stuff like that. And it wasn't that cold, so he was fine. But later that day, it's dark. We're in a campground, and there's, the pit toilet down the way. And he comes over, he's like, I have a question. It's very urgent. I'm like, okay. He's like, will you come to the bathroom with me? He's like, and just stand outside the door. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Finally, after day 2, I was like, no more scary stories for you.
That's so cool.
He was awesome. And dude, we did some pretty epic canyons and some pretty major rappels and stuff. And this kid, he'd be like psyching himself, you can do this, you can do this, you are awesome, you are awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's great.
The other funny thing is, so we have immigrants. So one kid's from Brazil. Mm-hmm. He's the one who gets psyched out the most on scary stuff, ghost stories. And then we have 2 kids from Chile. And there's another kid from somewhere else. But when they first moved in to our neighborhood and stuff, and we're explaining what we're gonna do, they're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, yeah, we're gonna build these big piles of snow, and we're gonna dig them out
And sleep
and
in
we're gonna
them.
sleep in them. And
It'll
it's
be
just
like a coffin.
What?
You'll love it.
And then, we're gonna be hiking up to the top of that mountain over there.
Yeah.
What? It looks so far away. And then this canyoneering stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna climb down cliffs or go down cliffs with a rope and a harness. What?
We had earlier in the year, we did a quick trip down to Zion to do one canyon, and we only had one car, so we hitchhiked to get to the start. And this old couple from Iowa picked us up, and they're like, well, I'm like, hey, would you guys mind giving us a ride? It's just a couple miles, just on the other side of the tunnel, and this, we're just doing this canyon that's going to get us to the start. This is where we finish. And they're like, well, our back seat's really full. I'm like, we'll just sit in the bed of the truck. Oh, okay. And so we get in, and then the tunnel is too small for RVs and stuff. So when RVs come, they stop everybody and let the RV through, and then so we're stopped there for about 10 minutes, and they come out. Can we take a picture of you guys? And we're like, okay. They're like, we always tell our kids not to pick up hitchhikers, so we thought we'd send them a picture of the hitchhikers we picked up. And then they're like, sure. And then so now, what exactly are you guys doing? And so we're explaining to them, and they're like dumbfounded, like, and you do this for fun? Right. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
they're like,
really, really
okay,
fun.
if you say so.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Well, anyways, we are out of time.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you guys have some content that you would want us to cover in the future, send us an email or listener feedback. Send us an email, concealedtacodudes@gmail.com. And hopefully the next episode will be shortly. Like
it won't be in a month.
It won't be a month and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, take care, stay safe,
and be nice to people.
take someone shooting.